Greetings, Elma. Yesterday, I attended your CIPC webinar on beneficial ownership, and many of the customers, including myself, were not clear with the number of documents that are required for submission or filing of a BO. Hence, my follow-up question to try and understand specifically on the issue of mandate. When filing a BO, the mandate that is required. What is this mandate? And also perhaps elaborate in terms of what is actually the content, what should be the contents of the mandate.
Maru, thank you very much. A mandate is a compulsory document that must be submitted wherein the declaring company mandates a filer or natural person to submit its beneficial ownership declaration on behalf of a company. So we've got an example, but it's up to the companies whether they want to use it or create their own. One thing is one can either use a special power of attorney or a letter or a resolution, but must always be on a business letterhead. It must include, as part of a letterhead, the full name of a company, the registration number, the place where it is registered, for example, South Africa, the registered address of a company. In case it differs from the place of business, then the place of business address must also appear, and then the contact details like the phone and email address of the company. So the example here is of a special power of attorney. So the person who gives it will complete his or her name in full, the surname and his or her ID number, and then give the name of a person, or rather this person, he's from which company and the registration number again, and then he or she gives the name of a person they're appointing to do their beneficial ownership on behalf of a company. And they'll usually appoint the person to do both the beneficial ownership and the annual returns for the company. They'll sign it and date it. And what they must also remember is to add signatures of 50% plus one of the directors, meaning, unfortunately, for instance, if there's 100 directors at this point in time, they'll have to have 51 directors of those 100 to sign. And then as far as CCs are concerned, all the members of a closed corporation will have to sign the mandate. Marumu?
Much appreciated. And tell me, Elma, is there an example of a share register, and what must be the contents of a share register?
We can give an example of a share register. Once again, it's just an example. So companies are allowed to create their own format. In ours, we added obviously the company name and registration number, as well as a space for the street and postal address. We allowed for the shareholder's surname, full name, ID number, the certificate number, the number of shares that were issued, the class or kind of shares, the date it was issued, the amount of the shares that have been paid, the email address of a person who is the shareholder, and the shareholder's cell phone number. It's indicating this register is still active and gets signed and dated as well. Marumu?
The issue of securities register was also quite a bit confusing in terms of we really need to understand what is actually a securities register, and also tell us what should be the contents of such a register.
Yes, unfortunately, we don't have an example, but we can just remind customers that a securities register means the securities are shares, debentures, or other instruments issued by a profit company in terms of Section 1 of the Companies Act. A securities register of the company contains certain information regarding the securities, including shareholding that was issued by the company. So the content that must be reflected in terms of Regulation 52(3) is the name and ID number, the number and class of securities, the beneficial interest or extent of interest, the name and ID number, the business and residential or postal address, and the contact information or email. So the beneficial owner information will be the full name, the date of birth, the ID or passport number, and the residential and postal address, and the email address. Marumu?
Appreciated, much appreciated. Thank you very much. I think most of the customers will be much happy to have these examples and more knowledge or information you provided. Thank you.